everyone. I am Leah Dixon from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. I am here with my regular Wednesday morning Facebook Live. So today I have a really fun one layout, 3 cards for you. This is actually going to be my last of this this feature using the templates from page 22 of our annual catalog, because next month we actually have a new catalog going live. So I haven't had a chance to look through it. I do know there's some templates in there. I'm not sure if they're card templates or scrapbooking or tags or whatever, but I will take a look and see what is in there. And so we'll be changing this up just a little bit to go with our new catalog. Good morning, Kim. Thanks for joining. So I'm going to switch over to my desktop. I'm going to show you the sketch that I've chosen for this month from page 22 of our annual catalog, and then we're going to get started crafting. All right, so here we go. So on my blog, I do have this printable available of all the card templates that were on page 22 of the catalog, because they were really tiny. So I enlarged it and created this document. So that is available printable on my blog, stampinwithleah.ca. And then you just do a search for any of the one layout, 3 cards. And so we are featuring this one here this month with the 2 circles and the sentiment there. So it's just a great layout. I'm super excited. So I'm going to put that up out of the way. And let's get started. So our first card, let me just grab my stuff, is a graduation card. I know it's only April, but June will be here before we know it. And so there we go. I have got a sweet little graduation card here. It is created using the School Days stamp set. So this is an online exclusive. I actually featured it this Monday in my online exclusives email, and I created a card for it yesterday as well. I think it was a teacher thank you card yesterday. So today we're going to use the grad cap and create a graduation card. So I'm going to move that out of the way. Now the paper we're using for this card is a retiring set. We have a lot of things that are retiring on our last chance list with the end of a catalog. And so I'm just going to bring this up here and show you. This is the Countryside Inn 12 by 12 designer series paper. So it has some nice striped patterns. It's all blues. It has some really beautiful kind of, I guess, Baroque type stuff, some little flowers. One of my favorite pages here has all of these itty bitty little bunnies on it. We've got more floral patterns, and just that one's kind of hard to see, but it's like tone on tone kind of floral lines. So lots of different great patterns in this set, and it is all different shades of blue. So balmy blue, boho blue, misty moonlight, and night of navy. So this one's on the chopping block because it has that boho blue in it, which of course is one of our retiring in colors, which is too bad because it's a lovely pack of paper. All right, so to create this card, it's actually pretty simple. Let's see, I've got all my pieces here. We're going to start with a piece of misty moonlight. And this is 3 by 4. And I am going to stamp stars all over this piece of paper. Now, I don't have to worry too much about stamping right in the middle because, as you can see, it's going to get covered up with our circles. But I do want to make sure to get my corners and that kind of thing. So I am going to just start randomly stamping. Hopefully that's not going to make too much noise as it bashes around. There we go. All right, so oops, I didn't get that one super well. So I'm going to come back at that one from off. There we go. So if you don't get a great impression when you're stamping, you can try to redo it. You can flip your paper over. Lots of options. So I'm going to keep these quite close together as I stamp. I want all the space really filled, especially in my top right and my bottom left corners. Those are going to be my two most visible areas. Now that little piece there, let's just see. I don't have a circle pre-cut. Let's just see though. Okay, yeah, that's going to work. That'll be covered, so I don't need to worry about that. All right, now really I don't need to worry about any of this area. I'm going to start back in around here and just really try to cover this up. Okay. Even right there, I'm going to come in and do one just kind of off the side. So this is a little time consuming, but it's going to be worth it because it's going to create an absolutely gorgeous background for us. All right, and then those should be covered with our circles. I'll just do one more here just in case. All right, that should get covered with our circles, so I'm not going to worry about the rest. So I can put away my Misty Moonlight ink now for a moment. And I'm going to just give my desk a little wipe here. So I forgot to wet my gray mat, my gray cloth that came with my glass mat, but I do have just my chamois here. So I can just wipe that up. And now we have no more ink on our table. There we go. So I do like the glass mat for that, as long as you have something to clean it with. All right, so now this piece, we are going to glue straight down onto here. Now, originally I had glued this straight down, but I'm actually feeling like the card wasn't as jazzy as I wanted it to be. So what I'm actually going to do is add a little silver embellishment to this. So I'm going to clean up my stars, and we're going to do a little bit of embossing with some silver embossing powder. In fact, today my 3 cards use the 3 colors that come in our Wow metallics. This one's going to be silver, and then I've got not bronze, copper, and a gold card as well. And we're going to do a little bit of heat embossing today. So when we do our heat embossing, having the Embossing Additions Toolkit is really handy. That's going to give you the amazing Embossing Buddy, which just lets you go over all of your materials with, I don't know what it is. It's kind of like a cornstarch, and it just means that we're not going to end up with fingerprints and stuff. And while I'm at it, so I did my card base, just a thick basic white card base. While I'm at it, I'm going to do this piece of Night of Navy as well. All right, so with that all done, I'm going to grab my Versamark. There we go. And I'm going to start by stamping my sentiment here on my Night of Navy. And now I am going to put some powder on this right away. Versamark stays wet for quite some time, but I just don't want it to lose any of its stick. So I'm just going to put the powder right on there right now. I'm going to tap off the excess, and you can see because we use, don't do that. I'm just going to go over it one more time just in case that knocked any powder off of our sentiment. So now you can see because we used our Embossing Buddy, that did a pretty good job of keeping all the little flecks away from what we're actually going to be embossing. It's just right on our words. Now I don't have to heat that yet. I can just set that to the side while I do the rest of my embossing. So I'm going to keep this powder. We're going to use it on the next thing that I ink up here. And the next thing that I'm going to ink up is actually going to be our card front. And I'm going to do some stars. So I just felt like maybe I needed a little bit more on my card front. So I'm going to do, I don't know how many of these will actually show, but I'm going to do 3 stars up there in my top corner. And, well, not 3 stars, 3 sets of stars. And then 3 sets of stars down here in my bottom corner. Now, it's hard for you guys to see where I've stamped because, of course, this is clear ink. But I can see it. So I wasn't like, I didn't overlap any of my stars or anything, I don't think. Now I'm going to take this piece that we've inked and I'm going to pour my silver powder just over top of my images. All right, it was that corner. Can't really see them, so I'm just kind of guessing here. So there we go. I've got that corner done. A big thumbprint in the middle of my card that I'm going to have to brush away. And I just kind of keep running it over the images until I feel like enough has stuck to them that I'm happy with it. Okay. So we give that a little tap. That took a lot of it off. Now in your Embossing Buddy toolkit, you get Embossing Additions toolkit. You get this wonderful little paintbrush that I've never used for painting. I use it strictly for cleaning up surfaces before I heat them. So it's great for gently tapping the back to get pieces away, and then of course for coming in and wiping them away. Okay. Now, oops, I took too much away from that, so I'm going to put a little bit back on there. Okay. Now, when I get to spots that are really finicky, and I want to pick up just like a singular grain of something, I actually use my Take a Pick tool. So I'm going to come in here for this star. There's just something not quite right about the shape of this star. So I'm actually going to use it to lift some on. No, that's not going to work. It's excellent for taking away. So there we go. All right. So when you have just like a singular grain of something that you want to take off the page and you don't want to get the big brush in there, this is the tool for you. I'm going to come in there and just take away those single grains. Okay, so you can either push them into an image where you're just kind of adding it to what's going to melt there, or you're taking it away entirely. All right, so with that ready to go, I'm going to put that to the side. I've just used a piece of paper because the embossing toolkit does come with a tray for this. I have 2 of them actually, but I actually keep white and gold living in them permanently. So when I do other colors, then I just use a piece of paper. You don't have to leave it living in there permanently, but that's what I do. Oh, my tattoo. Yeah. We did our Terry Fox run yesterday. We actually coincided it with Terry Fox actually started the Marathon of Hope in April. So we did ours in April this year at my school, and that was yesterday. So I've got all sorts of fun Terry Fox tattoos. All right, so there's my congratulations all heated up. And now I'm going to do my stars. All right, there we go. So we've just added those fun little stars onto our card. If you wanted to get really fancy, you could put some on the inside of the card. You could do your envelope. Like, you could really have some fun with this. All right. But in the interest of time, that's where I'm going to stop. So we've now got our piece with our stars on it. We've got our extra stars on our card. And I'm simply going to glue this layer down. Like watching the colors change. I know, isn't it awesome? And it's really important to watch that, especially when you're the one doing the embossing, because you don't want to overheat your embossing powder, because then it's going to lose its shine. So really, as soon as it starts to change and get shiny, you want to move on and let the next piece start to change, because yeah, we don't want it to overheat. Okay, so yeah, that's the right way. So we're going to take this and I'm gluing this down. I'm gluing it closer to the left than to the right. It's about 1/2 inch on the left and maybe 3/4 of an inch on the right. And we'll just glue that in place. Okay, so now with that glued down, we are going to create some circles. So I just took 2 pieces of paper from the Countryside Inn pack, and I'm just going to die cut them. Now I am using stylish shaped circles. I'm using the, let's see, these are all out of whack. I am using the second largest, I think that's right, yeah, second largest stylish shaped circle to die cut both of my circles. I'm using these stylish shaped dies on all 3 cards today, I believe. So let's grab our little mini machine here and some plates. So when you're die cutting these circles, it's kind of nice. You don't have to really line them up or anything. We'll pay attention to the stripes on these circles when we go to glue them down, but that's kind of it. Yeah, those silver stars do take it to the next level. I kind of had it in my head that I wanted to do that, but I was on a bit of a time crunch when I was designing. So I thought, well, we'll make it without, and then I can always add them in when I do the actual video. And yeah, I decided I definitely wanted to add them in. All right. So now we've got these little circles. Run that through. And while we've got our machine and our stylish shapes dies out, I am also going to die cut the sentiment. Now you can, and in fact I did on my original card, you can do the die cut first and then emboss your sentiment right on the die cut. 2 things though. You have to make sure that you stamped straight with clear ink, so it's a little bit trickier. And then also you have to make sure to wipe the embossing powder out from the little grooves that this puts around, because it puts like these little dot grooves around, like stitching, and the powder likes to sit in them. So I highly recommend just embossing first and then die cutting. Make sure you leave enough space. I almost didn't have enough space there on the left or on the right. Luckily did, but almost didn't. So make sure you give yourself enough space. All right, there's our beautiful sentiment. Okay, so now we can put these 2 pieces onto our card front. So I'm just gluing these down again, like nothing fancy here. Now, before I actually put some glue on here though, I think I'm going to switch up the direction of my stripes, because on this one, I could see 2 strips of the dots, but on this one, if I keep them this direction, I'm going to be covering up one of the strips and it's going to look kind of weird, I think. So I'm going to glue this one down so that it goes that way, and then these stripes going the other way, so it almost creates like a V pattern. So that's how I'm doing that. Now, in terms of lining these up, I want the top of my circle to be inside my rectangle, but the left of my circle to be outside of my rectangle. And then when I do the bottom one, I want the bottom of it to be inside my blue rectangle and the right side of it to be out. And so that's kind of how you get your overlap and your placement. Whoops. And because this is liquid glue, it does move on you. So be calm and gentle when you're doing your rubbing. There we go. All right. Beautiful. So those layers are all just glued. Our congratulations is going to go on with dimensionals though. Now before I actually stick that down, I have got some silver trim here. So this is from our gold and silver trim pack. I am just taking a little loop of it here. And I am going to use some Seal Plus on the back of my sentiment. And with those pieces just kind of folded over on each other, you can kind of move them around a bit if you want, give them some, give a little angle to it all. You can also do this once it's actually attached. And I'm going to lay this down behind my congratulations, just like that. Okay, and now I think I want that on a bit more of an angle. So I'm going to just lift it and put it back down on more of an angle and then check it. So yeah, that is how I want that to look. So I've just got it attached to the back on an angle. Now I can flip this over and put some dimensionals on here. So I'm going to do one on each end, and then you don't have to, but I am going to put one just kind of holding that and covering up the little bit of extra Seal Plus that was showing. Just so it doesn't end up accidentally sticking or anything like that. Now when I place this, I want to cover up this intersection of the circles. And I want my banner to stick off the left side a little bit. Okay, there we go. So I've got my congratulations on there with my silver trim. And now we just need to create our grad cap. So I've just got a scrap piece of paper here. On my original card, I used Misty Moonlight. It's a little bit lighter than the Night of Navy. Because it has a white border, you could get away with stamping it in Night of Navy. It might blend, like it'll look darker. It'll look more close to like black, which I think the caps usually are. I just don't want to add black into this card. I don't know why. Just didn't want to. So I'm going to use Misty Moonlight again. But, you know, feel free to have some fun with the colors. Change it up. Do whatever you want to do. But so I just stamped that. You want to make sure whatever ink you're... Oh, there was something on my stamp. I was just going to say, you want to make sure whatever ink you're using is nice and like well inked up, so you get a nice solid look. You don't want kind of like a not a solid looking cap. So, all right, my stamp is clean again. Let's try that again. So nicely inked and solid image. There we go. Now, if you do stamp it and you're like, oh, my ink pad wasn't as juicy as I wanted it to be, it doesn't look as great, you can grab the matching blend, Stampin' Blend, and literally just color over top, and it'll fill in any of those gaps that you might feel like exist. So that's kind of nice. Now, this just needs to get fussy cut. And I did leave a white border because we're putting it on a blue background. I didn't want it to just fade away. So I am leaving a tiny little white border here so that it stays popped. And we are going to pop it up with dimensionals as well, so it'll really stand out. This little grad cap is actually the reason I bought the School Days stamp set. I have another older stamp set that has a grad cap in it, but I don't really like it. And I really liked the look of this grad cap. So I'm like, okay, I can find ways to use the other things. The apple's cute, the pencils, the books, like they're super adorable. But the grad cap was the must-have for me. We've got a few more years of grads here in our own household. None this year, though. Thank goodness. I don't need that chaos this year. We've already had it 2 years in a row. So we get a break, and then we get to do it again, and then again, and then again. All right, so pop a little dimensional on the back of that grad cap. Put that grad cap there. And then you have some choices. If you've got little star embellishments, you can put those on here. I think this would look super cute with silver stars. I know that there was a paper pumpkin a while back, a Halloween one that had silver stars in it. That is completely what I would do with this card if I had any embellishment I could imagine at my disposal, but I don't. So I'm going to use, these are the Neutrals adhesive back sequins. So there was gold in here. I used them all. We have bronze, copper, and white as well. And apparently I'm going to use up my whites today. So here we go. And when I put this white one up here, I'm going to try and put it on a blue background so that it kind of stands out a bit. Now I have one lonesome little white dot left, so I think I'm actually going to sneak it on here. I don't normally, nope, I'm not. I don't normally do 4 on a thing, and I'm not going to today. So there we go. We've got it done. We've got our 3 on there as our final embellishments. So that is my first card. Probably my longest card too. My first card using this layout. And yeah, those stars just take it to the next level. I mean, I guess it depends on who you're giving the card to. Simple is sometimes more masculine, more, I don't know, just more simple. So there you go. You have both versions with that little step up or not. All right, so that's card number 1, using our School Days brand new online exclusive, but pairing it up with some last chance paper. All right, next up, I have got, where did I put it? Oh, there we go. I have got a ton more retiring product here to share with you. Today was kind of, I started cleaning out like what's on the last chance list. And so that's what I chose to create with. So this is the Thoughtful Expressions stamp set. I love it. The hummingbird is gorgeous. The flowers are gorgeous. The sentiments are just really heartfelt, and I love the font. So a great one for sympathy cards, because sometimes there are no words there. And then just great for like a birthday or even just a celebration. Enjoy your day is just such a, I don't want to say generic, but such an open sentiment that it can really go for lots and lots of things. So that is the stamp set I'm using today. And I am pairing it up with some, I believe this was always an online exclusive, but it's now on the last chance list. Some really fancy specialty paper. Here we go. So you get 2 of each of these sheets, 12 by 12. And this is called Naturally Gilded 12 by 12 Specialty DSP. This was an online exclusive, and I just love it. So you've got vanilla with gold. This is what inspired me to do all the metallics today. White with silver, and white with copper. So beautiful, beautiful papers. That's what we're using today. So excited. All right, put that all off to the side. Now I'll show you guys the card we're going to make. So here we go. It is just using some florals and that gorgeous gilded paper, and then of course an embossed metallic sentiment. So yeah, that is what we're going to create. So we are starting with a pool party base. And first thing we're going to do is use some Pool Party ink to do some stamping on the background. So just like we did with the stars, we're doing them up in the corners. Now, if you don't have Pool Party ink, go ahead and grab your Versamark. It will work just the same. It might be just a tad bit lighter, but you're going to get that same look, and you need the Versamark anyways to do your embossing. So, and actually, while I've got that out, I didn't already pre-cut this, but I'm going to grab a piece of basic white to put on our inside, and I'm actually going to do a little sprig of this on the inside of our card. And oops, I am trying to avoid the ink I just put on my desktop. I'm going to do one here too, because I might as well stamp it while I've got it. For my original one, because I didn't do an insert on my original one, and I really should have. All right, I'm going to clean up my desktop now, because I did get a little bit of Pool Party there, and I don't want to end up getting that on anything. There we go. Now, the next little bit of stamping we're going to do is actually our flowers, and I'm stamping them in early espresso. Because we've got the copper in the background and everything, and we're doing a copper sentiment, I didn't want to go crazy and do like black or something like that. I just thought it would be a bit much. So there we go. We're going to stamp those. And while I've got it out, just because, you know, I've got it out, I am going to stamp a flower on the inside down here by the little greenery I just did. I'm going to stamp a flower on the inside of my card as well. And I'll do one on my other one because I've got the ink, might as well. All right. There. So we've got that. Okay. So that was with early espresso ink. You could do your envelope at this moment in time as well. Probably be a smart thing to do. And get your envelope all decorated up as well. Wow, I'm making a mess of my desk. Okay, so next things, I'm going to put that there so I remember. I can color that up later. All right, next thing we're going to do is actually color these images. And I am using 4 different blends colors. Now, you can use any colors you want, but I have got Wild Wheat. Now, this is a retiring in color. Funny enough, it was not a favorite color of mine, but it has become a favorite blend of mine. I absolutely love it for yellow in the blends format. Then I've got Flirty Flamingo, Calypso Coral, and Old Olive. So I'm going to start with my Wild Wheat, and let's make sure I'm on the screen for you guys. Yeah, there we go. I'm using the wider tip, and I'm just doing like a really messy, and I should do the inside of one of these. I'm not going to color both of these, but get one so I can get it finished. So I'm using light Wild Wheat to color the centers, and then that was a paintbrush tip. Then I'm going to use the bullet tip of my dark to come in and just do some of those dots on there. Even though they're already stamped in early espresso, so they already have a darker tinge to them. This just helps with that whole blending process. So that was my Wild Wheat retiring blend. Oops, goes away in the wrong spot. There we go. Here we go. All right, now to color my flowers, I'm going to start with my light Calypso Coral, and I'm just coloring the one kind of lonely flower. Now my poor Calypso Coral is like destroyed here. I really need to get a new one. So I just colored that with light Calypso Coral, and actually I'm going to do the other small flower with light Calypso Coral as well. So normally I would be more using the tip of it, but I'm not sure what happened here. It got destroyed. All right. Now I'm going to use the light Flirty Flamingo for the larger flower. So it's got more of a pink tone to it, but I like Flirty Flamingo because it's a bit of an orangey pink, almost like salmon. There we go. So you can see just a little bit of the difference there. They're not drastically different though. Oh, I love the Calypso Coral blends. Now I've got dark Flirty Flamingo. I'm going to use the, sorry, I'm using the thinner end because I'm trying to keep this kind of contained. And I'm just, anywhere where there's black lines on my flowers, I'm like not being careful at all. And I'm doing even my Calypso Coral flowers with my dark Flirty Flamingo. The two blend together really nicely. All right. And again, just kind of helps tie the two different colored flowers together, keep them in kind of the same color family. There we go. So yeah, just any of the dark lines, I'm just kind of accenting them with that dark Flirty Flamingo. So that is it for our coloring of those. Now we've got our Old Olive. I'm going to start with my light Old Olive, and I'm going to color all of the leaves. And like you can see, I'm being like not too worried about staying in lines and whatnot. I'm just kind of doing a quick brush stroke, get a little layer of color down. All right, there we go. And my other leaves. Oh, I completely forgot to color my flower for the inside of this card. Oh, well, I'll do that later. You guys have seen the coloring process. You guys know what it's about. Now I'm going to take the thin tip of my dark Old Olive and just really lightly, like really lightly come in to like the softest touch and just add, again, where the lines are, not really anywhere else. Just where the lines are, add just the tiniest bit. There. All right. So that is our beautiful flowers colored. I love them so much. I'll do that inside later, but you guys get the idea. We'll color that up and pop it in. And now the only kind of part of the card is some fussy cutting. It's not quite as easy as the fussy cutting on that grad cap. All right. The third card's nice because there's no fussy cutting. We have a die for the image I'm using. Yay. All right. So I'm going to come along and do like that all the way around. Now you'll notice I haven't die cut any circles yet, but our card sketch had circles on it. That is because I wanted to show you that you can use a card sketch and replace any of the shapes. Like, you do not have to follow a card sketch so much so that you change nothing about it. Okay, our card sketch didn't show to put little stars or flowers up in the corners of our background, but I did it anyways. And for this card, I am replacing the circles with flowers. Now, you could, if you wanted to, do like some nice like vellum circles in the background if you really, really, really wanted to keep that whole circle concept going and then put your flowers on top. But I just thought it'd be nice to just forego the circle entirely and just put these where the circles would be. Okay, just about done. And I like this stamp set because it's a little bit like everything's a little bit wonky. The lines are a bit wonky. So when I'm die cutting it, I'm not worrying too much about like every little detail. I'm just giving it a general cut. There we go. All right. Okay, so now that we've got that done, let's start putting our card together, and then we will do our sentiment. All right, our sentiment's going to be the last thing we add to this card. So those are the insides. So we've got our base that we did our stamping on. I have a little 3 by 4 inch piece of the naturally gilded specialty paper. Now you can glue this paper. I just worry a little bit about it with glue. So I tend to use a dry adhesive, either tear and tape, seal plus, like something like that, to put this down. Just, I feel like the weight of the paper and the nature of the paper, it might get like funny little glue lines. So, and I don't know for sure that it will, because I don't know that I've ever been brave enough to glue it down. It's just my worry when I feel it. So I like to use a dry adhesive. All right, so I've got my dry adhesive down. Now I'm going to put dimensionals behind my flowers. And pop that on, pop that on. I'm going to do 3 dimensionals on this one. And I just want to look at this. I feel like this one needs to be kind of facing up that way. And I'm going to put it here again, just like I did with my original circle, some space at the bottom, but going off the side of the label. And then my other little flower. I put the dimensional on the back, but I'm not going to glue it down yet, but it's going to go right there. Okay. I could even put it over further like that, actually. So that's where I'm planning to put it. Now I want to work with my my sentiment to make sure. So I haven't even stamped my actual sentiment. So I want that up a bit. So it's covering my flower, but not really. And then this one's going to tuck just the tiniest bit. So yeah, there we go. So with my sentiment label, it's I think 3 inches by 3/4 of an inch. There we go. I just kind of used it as a framework for where to put that. So that's like the equivalent of my 2 circles. And now we're going to do our sentiment. So like we did before with the metallic embossing, we're going to use our embossing buddy to go over our paper. And then I'm going to get some Versamark, my sentiment. So it says, enjoy your day. There we go. And I'm going to stamp that. Now I am trying to make this as straight and centered as possible because I am not like trimming this up or die cutting it or anything. I'm going to use it as is. And then I'm going to get just a scrap piece of paper again, because this time I'm going to use the copper embossing powder. All right, so put that down. Do a little sprinkle. There we go. Tap it off. All right, that's nice. And now we're going to use another tool from the embossing tools kit that I didn't use before, which is our reverse tweezers. I'm going to use those to hold it while I heat it so that I don't burn my hands. All right, and I'll just pour that off. All right, that's our copper embossing powder, and I'm going to put the lid on that. And we're going to heat this one up, and I'm just going to hold it with my tweezers. Okay, there we go. So now do be aware the white tips of these tweezers are going to be quite warm. I believe they're ceramic, but the black handle stays nice and cool, so you don't have to worry about burning yourself. I know, Kim, those are the best tweezers. All right, now before we attach this to our card front, I am going to grab some linen thread, and I'm just going to tie a bow with it. So I just took a little bit, make 2 bunny ears, wrap them around each other, and then kind of pull it to make it the size you want it. I probably grabbed more here than I need, but that's okay. It's just linen thread. And we're just sizing it to go behind like that. So yeah, I grabbed about 1.5 inches more than I needed. That's all right. It made it easy to tie. So with that like that, I'm going to flip this over and again, just use a little dash of Seal Plus to hold my little bow in place. So kind of come along, and that's how I want it to look. And now flip it over, and we're going to add our dimensionals. Now, I am going to be aware to not put a dimensional on this end just yet. I'm actually going to put the dimensional that goes over there, possibly right onto my card front, and possibly not use one at all. Yeah, I will, and it's going to go right up here above this flower. Okay, so now when I put this down, I'm going to make sure to cover that dimensional. So peel my backings off, grab my little sentiment here, and pop that on like that. All right, now I can move my bow around, kind of be the boss of the twine and tell it what you want it to do. Okay, actually I put it like that. So just like that, we're going to leave that. So on my original, I had actually trimmed the ends, but I thought it kind of brought it in too close, and I didn't really like the look of it. So we're going to keep the ends straight this time. And now, finishing touch, I'm going to bring back those neutrals adhesive back sequins, the ones that I used up all my white ones, and I'm going to add some bronze ones. So I'm popping some down here on the pool party area where it's going to like pop really nicely. I'm going to hide some up here in the treetops. And I'm going to pop one down here. Now I am kind of trying to find spots to put them where they're naturally were already kind of like dots on the paper and everything. And yeah, that's kind of our placement. And there you go. That is our finished card. Well, almost finished. I have to work on my card inserts for the 2, but you guys get the idea. That is our second card using that layout, and no circles this time, just the concept of where the circles would have been. All right, and now our final card is using one of the sets. I am so sad, like breaks my heart sad that it is on the last chance list. We are going to be using the Ocean Friends stamp set and dies. Okay, so these are on the last chance list. So is the absolutely gorgeous Designer Series paper. So if you haven't seen this, it's Melon Mambo, Pumpkin Pie, Coastal Cabana, Lemon Lime Twist. It is spectacular. Absolutely love this paper. So that is what we're using for our final card today. Now, I actually don't have a sample to show you. I just have a concept in my head. So we're going to go with this. It's a pretty quick and easy one, though, because these guys die cut. Yay. So we are going to get started with a basic white card base and some little bubbles and some Coastal Cabana ink. And just like I did on my other 2 cards, we're going to do a little little stamping in our corners. Okay, so whoops, that's okay. These are bubbles. There we go. We can even let these guys like kind of overlap each other. And just like that. And then down here, we'll stamp a few more. Oops, sorry guys. Totally blocking your view. There we go. And twist that one around for this one. There we go. All right, and I think, let's just put this down and see. That's pretty good. Maybe we'll do a little one up there. All right. Just like that. Yeah, I like that. So yeah, it's just a little bubbly extra touch. There we go. All right, so that is the beginnings of our card. Now, I am going to put this down with liquid glue. This has been embossed with the Soft Waves embossing folder, which I am so happy to say is not on the last chance list. Thank goodness. I use that embossing folder for everything. It's a great sky, it's a great sand, it's a great nondescript background, it's a great ocean. It's just a wonderful embossing folder. All right, so we're going to glue that down. Okay, now let's get started stamping. Let's see, where can I put that so it's out of the way? There we go. Let's get started stamping our images that are going to go on here. Now, I'm not sure that both a lobster and a crab will fit on here. Lobster and a crab. Oh, they might. But I think we're going to just do 2 crabs. I like the lobster, but it's kind of big. All right, so we're going to do 2 little crabs for this card. And I'm going to stamp them in Calypso Coral, but stamped off Calypso Coral. So, well, I thought I had them already on the block, but I don't. So we're going to start with the full crab. So not the one that's just lines. This one is like when we stamp him, he's going to stamp like full image. Oh, and I just stuck him to my desktop. Okay, don't do that. Put them on a piece of paper to put them on the block. All right, there. Now I am going to grab a piece of scrap paper though, because I don't want him full strength Calypso Coral. I want him second generation. That's the word. All right. So ink up my crab, stamp him on my scrap paper, stamp him on my basic white, and then repeat. There we go. Okay, so we've got 2 crabs, second generation, stamped on there. And that was in Calypso Coral. Now, let's see, I'm running out of blocks, so I'm going to clean that guy up to put my outline on him. Now, you could stamp one of these guys on the inside too. That would work out really well. All right. Now, after you've got him done, we want all the crab lines. We want that stamp. And we're going to put that right there. I can get rid of my scrap paper. And I am going to do some embossing on these guys. I'm not just going to stamp them normally. So we're going to grab our embossing buddy and really make sure that this gets covered, because we don't want our embossing powder sticking to our full crab. We just want it sticking to our lines. Now, this is where I get to show you the embossing tray. This has my gold powder in it. So that is the other piece that comes with your embossing tools kit. Now I'm going to take my Versamark ink. I'm going to ink up the crab outline, and then I'm going to line it up over top of my crab. It is easier than I am making it look, and easier than you would imagine. All right, and then I'm going to repeat. I'm going to do them both at once. Okay, and there we go. So we've got both of those stamped in Versamark. I'm going to take this and my embossing tray, and I'm going to float that through and get gold powder all over these beauties. Okay, so check that out. We've got two gorgeous crabs ready to go with our gold embossing powder. Now, when I put these away on my desk, I just have a piece of cardboard that I put over top so that it doesn't get things dropped in it or whatever. What do you use to remove the haze from the embossing buddy on dark colors? You know what? After I've done my embossing, I actually go back through with the paintbrush and I wipe it away, but not until after I have done the heat embossing. And that gets rid of the kind of like, yeah, I don't know what you'd call it. A haze is a great word for it. All right. Yeah, but don't do it till after you've embossed, because then you can brush the whole surface really well. All right. And then we're just going to heat these up. All right, so we have two adorable little crabs in second generation Calypso Coral with some gorgeous gold accents to them. Now we get to die cut these, and they're so easy to die cut. The dies are just perfectly shaped and sized that they just line up beautifully every time. So we just pop that down. And I don't know, it's just the way they did them. There's enough of a border without being too much of a border that it's just so perfect every time. Now that I've said that, watch it not work. Oh, good morning. Oh, I'm glad you like that, Louise. Yeah, I really like the stamped with the embossed for two-step stamping. It's just so great. All right, so there's one of our little crabs die cut, and let's get our second guy done so we can pop them on our card front. I still have a few little surprises for you with this card. There's some fun little things still to come, but we're using that same layout. Oops, now this works perfectly as long as you don't move it when you put your top down. There we go. So line it up. There we go. All right, and now don't move it. Okay. All right, so voila, we've got that. And pop that little guy out. Okay, so adorable. Oh my goodness. I love the dies in this set. And yeah, the last chance list, you guys. Don't let it go without you grabbing it. It's such a good set. All right, so we've got our two little crabs. We've got our card base. Our crabs are going to go in there, but I was thinking I might want circles. So I actually went ahead and die cut them, and then we're going to decide if we want them or not. But I really like the Melon Mambo and Calypso Coral look together. So I feel like I want to put them on the circles. So these were die cut from that gorgeous designer series paper that goes with this. And I don't know. So there it is with the circles. And there it is without. So it's, I don't know, it's actually a cleaner look. Yes, today is free shipping for 3 days, you guys. So it is a bit of a cleaner look without the pink circles. Let's see what happens when we get our sentiment going and see if we need the pink circles or not. I kind of like them, but we'll see. So we're going to go like this. I have got somewhere, where did I put it? I've got the sentiment. There we go. Hello, friend. And we're going to stamp this one in no, that's Floaty Flamingo. We're going to stamp it in Calypso Coral. There we go. And I have a little piece to stamp it on. There we go. So we're going to stamp it in Calypso Coral on a piece of basic white. Now, when we do this, I want it kind of towards the top, I guess you'd call it. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to stamp it, but I'm going to stamp it up as high as I can. There we go. Hello, friend. And the reason I stamped it as high as I could is because there's another really fun die in our die set. I mean, they're all really fun in this set. I love the coral. The seaweed, but we've got this little wave. I love this little wave. So we are going to get our die cutting machine again. And our plates. There we go. And we're going to put down our sentiment. And then we're going to put down this die. Now you can look and see how your waves are going. Do you want them ending up? Do you want them ending down as you come across? And I'm lining up the bottom of the die with the bottom of my paper. That's going to ensure that I get a straight cut. And now we have got the sweetest little sentiment with the little wave underneath it. I just love it. Now, if you really want to do, you could save that piece too and craft with it. You kind of get a 2-for-1 on your wave. If you were also really organized and making more than one of this, you could stamp the 2 sentiments, cut at once, have double waves. I'm not that organized. I knew what I wanted to do, but I'm still not that organized. All right, and then this is going to go on like that, but I feel like... Okay, so now that we've got our sentiment there, let's bring our circles back and see, do we want the circles? So, little crab, little sentiment, another little circle, another little crab. And we want that down about that low. And, oh, see, we're going to have to cover him up so much, though, if we do that. So I'm going to say, oh, I actually don't know. What do you guys think? Circles or no circles? And we'll just find a different way to put this crab on here. So let's put that up, and this little guy. Oh, I could turn him, and then we're not covering up as much of him. He looks weird, though, turned. All right, maybe we move him off the circle. So maybe we do like that. So what do you guys think? Circles or no circles? Smaller circles. Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah, we could do smaller circles. And although I think if we did smaller circles, then they'd have to hang off even more because then they wouldn't fit on the circles. Let's see. So then he'd hang off the circles, I guess, and then they wouldn't overlap as much. Okay, beautiful. So we're going to do smaller circles, and we're going to get a 2-for-1 here. You guys are going to see rings on some other card down the road because we're going to die cut our existing circles, and I'll be left with the circle we're going to use and a ring in Gorgeous Melon Mambo. Whoa. So because I want to use the rings, I'm going to make sure to keep that centered. If I wasn't planning to use the rings on something, then you don't need to worry about it being centered or not, just as long as it's on the circle. Okay, so there's one. And a fancy double stitch ring to use somewhere else. You prefer plain, Louise. I know, I was kind of leaning that way too, but then I always think I do everything plain. Maybe I should step it up. And now I'm wondering if we're just going to end up using the rings. Let's see. All right. So I do like creating with other people. I find so much of my crafting I do in the middle of the night, so I'm by myself because normal people are asleep. But it's so nice to like chat with people and craft with someone. All right, so our hello friend's gonna go there. Our smaller circle, Oh, I like that. So they don't really overlap. Here, we can make them overlap. Force them to. There we go, they overlap now. And then our little crab friend can go there. And this guy's still the problem, eh? And because our sentiment is going to go over top like that. And I don't like how much it covers him. It covers him way too much. All right. So after all of that, trying to work to get the pink circles in there, I think we're not going to have them. Let's see what it looks like with pink rings. Because then I can separate the crabs a bit more. Kind of fun. Nope, you know what? We're scrapping the circles entirely. Sorry, everybody. They'll show up on another project real soon, I promise. All right, we're going to scrap them entirely, and I'm going to bring the pink in with some little die cuts instead. So these guys are all going to get popped down right now with dimensionals, and we're going to skip the circles entirely. I think maybe if I had like vellum or something, it would work out, but I don't, so we're not. All right, now before I pop that one down, oh, do I have any? I was going to use some gold trim. So we have that gold and silver trim pack. I guess I have to open this. I don't have any gold trim. So we're going to use the gold from that gold and silver pack. You know what? I think I'm all out of it because I used it all up on some wild birthday celebration cards. Or wildflower celebration. Yeah. So here we go. So we're going to take a little bit of this gold, just like we did before. We're going to just fold it. And fold it like that. And we're going to put it on the back of our hello friend. So just back there. All right. And just like that. So you can kind of fold it, move it, put it how you want it on the back of here, because we're just sticking it into a little bit of seal that I put on the back. Okay, get those bows going how you want them. We can trim up the ends too if we need. Oops. Okay, so lovely. Okay, I like that. Now I'm going to use some dimensionals to hold that in place. There we go. And a dimensional over here. All right. So our sentiment will go down first. So off just a little bit and across like that. Beautiful. And then our little crabs, we can just throw like one or two. If you wanted to, you could put minis up in the claws. I'm not going to bother. They're not too delicate. I'm not worried about them at all. So we'll peel those backings off. There we go. like that. Pop that guy up there so he's going off the card. And this guy's going to come in down here. And again, he's kind of going off the edges. All right, and now for this card, the embellishment that we're actually going to add is not like a blingy embellishment. We're going to make our own embellishment. It is one of my favorite dies. It is these adorable little sea stars. So I'm actually going to grab some Melon Mambo paper. And actually, I'm not even going to use Melon Mambo paper. I'm going to use these little scraps of my Melon Mambo Designer Series paper that I've got here. And because what else are you going to do with these little scraps? And what a waste. So I've got the dark ones, but actually I kind of think I like the light ones. All right, we're going to use the light side. Maybe we'll do both and mix and match. So great way to use up just little scraps of your Designer Series paper. And we're just going to cut those out. There we go. And what I love about these guys is they cut the outside shape, but also all the stitching and like fine detail on the inside of the little sea star. So they've got all, I don't know if you guys can see that, all the little stitching and dots and everything on them. They're so adorable. Now, I do recommend using a take your pick tool when you're playing with these guys and when you're adhering them. So I am going to use some mini glue dots to attach these. Now, can I actually find some mini glue dots? I have like 5 million of them laying around, and then when I want them, they are gone. All right, let's see. There's one. Oh, there we go. There's a few more. So I always keep them from my paper pumpkins, and use those up. You can also buy them on a roll. They're very easy to use on the roll. I like that actually a lot. All right, so I just use the take your pick tool to pick up the sea star, pick up the mini glue dot and put it on the back, and then pick up the sea star, pick up the mini glue dot, and put that on the back. All right, move those out of the way. So before I take the backings off of these, I'm just going to decide where I want them. And I think we're just going to do like that, just 3 little embellishments across it like that. So these guys, we now just peel the backings off and stick them down. And they're just so sweet. All right. There we go. Do that one. And one last one. All right, so this layout from page 22 of the annual catalog, the soon-to-be retired annual catalog, this is just such a great layout. I have had so much fun designing these cards and making them with you. I'm just going to bring all 3 back into the screen so you can see all 3 cards that use the exact same layout, you guys. It's just that idea of the cardstock or whatever you want in the background with your 2 circles and your sentiment. And it just creates such a fun look for whatever you're working with, whatever papers you've got, whatever images you've got. It's just really, really fun. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I do have just a couple things to share with you before I head out. It is free shipping today, tomorrow, and Friday. So you don't want to miss out on that. It's $100 plus orders. That's Canadian funds. And then the other thing I wanted to share with you is that I have 5 spots left in my Touch of Ink card class that's coming up on May 17th. You have until the end of April to register for it. The link is on my on my blog. You can find it in Facebook. If you can't find it, you can just message me, and I can send it to you. So I've got the Touch of Ink. I have 5 more of these. You get the stamp set for free with your kit. And then you get a little goodie bag with over $30 worth of product that we'll use with this stamp set to create 8 cards. It's 4 designs, and you get to create 2 of each of the designs using this beautiful stamp set. So that's May 17th. And if you can't make it, it will be recorded. So that's all fine. And yeah, you get this stamp set for free with it all. So I'd love it if you join us. It is limited because these are celebration stamp sets from a few years back. And I only have 5 remaining now. I had 8 to begin with. So we've got a few people registered for the class, and I'm hoping to fill up the other 5 spots. So that is everything, I think. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and today is my day off. So if you have any questions about anything, I will be around to answer messages and everything today. And the rest of the week, I'll get back to you when I can, but I'll be back in the classroom for Thursday, Friday. So limited to like recess and after school and stuff. So yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'm glad you liked the variety of the cards created with this sketch today. The card class is, oh, now I'm going to rely on my memory and it will be wrong. I want to say it's $60 if you can do porch pickup, and it's $65 if you need your stuff shipped to you. So that is that card class. And yeah, I'll put the link into the description, like into the comments, sorry, of this video as well. So you guys can find it there. And yeah, it's just a fun little virtual card class. So we'll meet online in a private YouTube group. And oh, that is the correct price. Good, Kim. Yeah, and Kim will be there. So that's awesome. Yeah, so that is happening. And yeah, you have until the end of April to register for that, though we have lots of time. I had to find a date that would work for me, and it just happened to not be until May 17th. It feels so far away, but I guess it'll be here before we know it. Yeah, so that is everything that's going on. You guys have a wonderful day. It looks like it's turning into a sunny day here, so I'm going to go do a bit of gardening and come back in and do a bit of crafting this afternoon. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye-bye. Oh, and I'll see you next Wednesday. I'll be live with a kit. You're interested in the class. Wonderful, Louise. I'll share the link in this video, and I'll see if I've got you on my friends list and can send it direct to you. Okay, take care.